So let's go through these questions here. All it's about here is on the calculation of the cost of capital. So you may take 1 or 2 minutes, or you may just pause it for 1 or 2 minutes and have a look at the questions. And the best thing is always to look at the requirement first. We will just go through 13.1 and 13.2. So 13.1 is about calculating the current cost of capital. That's about the current business here. And the cost of equity, you have to use a capital asset pricing model. And for part B, you have to use a growth model. And for 13.2, considering diversifications, you are asked to calculate the cost of equity using the capital asset pricing model, of course, adjusting for the risk for the project. So if you look at the first paragraph, they say that Turner, it is in the food retailing sector, and they are considering diversifying, that is going into the new business. So the new business they are considering is a holiday travel shops. So in a part A, you are asked to calculate what is the current cost of capital. Okay, and part B or 13.2 there, you are asked for the cost of equity if you were to diversify into the holiday travel. And then in the second paragraph, there is a argument or the discussion is here. Okay, our sales director say that should be using the current cost of capital. And finance, of course, is always correct. Finance director say that it should be adjusting for the risk for the project there, that is in the 13.2. So 13.1, it is to calculate the current cost of capital, and then it give you a bunch of information after that. Okay, so if you were to look at the formula, this is a formula given in the exam. So basically this question will touch on all this formula here. Formula and discount table. And those formula, if the symbol is used, then there's no problem. If you want to use a new formula, you have to explain the symbol. So we will stick to this formula here and use a symbol as stated here. So let's start with the requirement 13.1. So you're asked to calculate what is the current cost of capital here. And the cost of equity, you have two methods here, part A and part B here. Okay, so the first thing you should be looking at is how many capital here. Equity, of course, you will have. And of course, it has to be market value. And then for the debt, you have two debt here. One, it is a debenture. And the other one, it is a bank loan. Okay, so you can always write down what is a standard cost of capital formula using the symbol as shown just now. Okay, so I just write down the standard cost of capital formula using the symbol as in a formula sheet. So this average of the cost of equity and the cost of debt, it has to be after taxation here, since it's interest is tax allowable. And this is market value of equity, market value of the debt. So that the whole company's total capital is the equity capital plus the debt capital. So you can have E plus D here, E plus D. So they give you the capital structure or the gearing here. Okay, and looking at this question, we have three capital. So my suggestion is to break down the debt into two debt. One for the debenture, that is a D1, and then one for the bank loan. So you have to calculate the market value of equity, market value of the debt, and then you have the current cost of equity and the current after-tax cost of debt here. Part A is using capital asset pricing model for the cost of equity here. Okay, so go through systematically. This should be market value, and market value. Let's look at the question and just go to the relevant information. So market value of the equity, just remember it is a share price. Market value of ordinary share. Standard is ex-dividend. 2.76 pound, and then you multiply by the number of share. So this 233 and per share is 10p. So that will be say that it is number of share is 2330. And for the debenture, this is a book value 1900. Market value, it is equal to 108 for the debenture per 100 pound there. So that means to say there is 8% above the par value or the book value. Last, you have the bank loan. Bank loan, we will take the market value as the book value. Okay, so we can now put in the answer. So market value of equity 276p multiplied by the number of share, and then you have the debenture is 1009. Every 100 is selling at 108. This is a bank loan. This is given. Okay, then we can move on to the three costs here. Cost of equity, we will use a capital asset pricing model. So formula is risk-free equity beta for your cost of equity, and then market return minus the risk-free. This is known as a risk premium or market risk premium, equity risk premium. And then you can search for the information for this capital asset pricing model. So equity current we are talking about is for Turner. Since we are calculating for the current one, current is given as 0.6. And then you have also risk-free given as 2%, market is at the 8%. Okay, so risk-free 2%, and then you have equity beta 0.6, market return 8% minus a risk-free. And then you have the cost of the debenture and also cost of the bank loan. Bank loan is given there as 4%. And then you have the net of the taxation. So this is a rate that is bank is charging you. But of course, interest is tax allowable for the company. So if we have the net of the taxation, it is at the 17%. So this is a 4%, and then net of the taxation of 0.17 there. Lastly, you have the cost of the debenture. So for the cost of the debenture, you have redeemable. So this 2004, and then you have 2008. There should be 4 years redeemed. And the market value, it is at 108, and when it's redeemed, it is at par value of 100 there. Okay, so we can always set up a table. This 6%, it is a coupon rate. And for the bondholder or debenture holder, they will get 6% on the par value of 100. That is $6, £6 here. So we can do the working for the after-tax cost of the debenture by interpolations. So let's put it down here. And then you can set up a table. So this is what the bondholder pay you, market price of 108. And then every year, year 1 to year 4, you're going to pay the debenture holder £6. And then at the end of 4 years, you also have to pay $100 or £100 here when you use redemption. So you can always try the rate here. If you were to look at the table, this table is given in the exam. So you can see that it's giving you 1%, and then giving you 5% and 10%. Choose the one that is closest to the coupon rate of 6%. In the exam, you have this 6% here. So the closest should be the 5%. So you can always try the 5%. And then you have the present value. 5% for year. This will be for the redemption value of 100. And then for the annuity, you have the 3.546. So take the cash flow and then multiply with a factor. Year 0, of course, it is already the present value. 6 multiplied by 3.546 annuity factor, you give you the present value 2128. 100 multiplied by this one, you have 82.3 here. So you will first calculate what is a return to the debenture holder. So this is the present value of the inflow. And then this is the present value of the outflow. How much do they pay here? So you work out an MPV. So these two multiplied by 108, you will have roughly equal to negative 4.42. So that will mean that the present value of the inflow, it is less than the present value of the outflow, which will mean that the debenture holder don't earn the 5%. They earn less than 5%. That's why you have a negative here. Or you just remember if it's less or if it's negative, then you should try a lower rate. So the lower rate as given in the table, it is the next one, it is a 1%. So you try the 1%. So 1% look under the 4 year, you have the discount factor, then you have the annuity factor, and then you multiply accordingly, and then you have the MPV when you try the 1%. So write down accordingly, and then you just take this cash flow and then multiply by this factor, and then you have the present value. So again, you take the present value of the inflow here minus outflow, you will have now equal to positive 11.51. So if using 1% to discount here, the present value of the inflow here is more than the outflow here. So that's why you have the positive, which will also mean that you are earning more than the 1%, or the debenture holder is earning more than the 1%. So it should be more than 1%, but it's less than 5%. So we're going to interpolate these two here. Or you can always say that the rate of return to the debenture holder using cash flow, actually it is an internal rate of return. So we're going to apply the internal rate of return formula and then get the return for the debenture holder. Examiner or marker don't expect you to write down the formula. If you know the formula straight away, of course you can put down the formula, or alternatively you just remember the format. Okay, you can always start with at least it is equal to 1% and then put it down here. Plus, it should be more than 1%. So this is always plus. And then at the back, just remember that take the difference in the rate. That's 5 minus 4. 5 minus 1, sorry. Okay, and this part here is all MPV. So you have lower rates, and then you have the difference in the rate. And here is all MPV. That's how you memorize, or that's how you remember. Okay, so just remember on top here, it is the MPV when you use 1%. So MPV when you use 1% is 11.51. And below it is also 11.51. Then you minus the other MPV. The other MPV, it is a negative here. So minus a negative actually is plus. Conclusion, you have here, it is a difference in the rate. This is a difference in MPV. So that's how you memorize the formula. Then you get the answer equal to. So you should have 3.89%. That is a rate you give to the debenture holder, or that's an interest rate you pay to the debenture holder. And since interest to the company, it is tax deductible, so it has to be after taxation. Just like when you pay the bank 4%, you net off the tax. Now you have pay the debenture holder 3.89. You also have to net off the taxation. So notice that I just put down all the working here. I will not do the total, as the total I'll do it last. Okay, So that will be the final answer. Market value of equity 6431, market value of the debenture, market value of the bank loan. So you have these three capital here. Okay, so now we are now asking here, this capital here, if you were to total it up, you should have equal to this amount here. 9118 million pounds here. So we are asking this capital here will cost the company how much? How many percent here? So it should be the average of these three costs here. And then weighted by the proportion of the capital in the company. So it should be the average of 5.6, 3.2, 3.32. So it can't be more than 5.6 because it is average here. It can also not be less than 3.23. Okay, so we can now put into the cost of capital here, and then we work out the WACC. So remember this general formula for two capital. We can break this one here into the debenture and also the bank loan here. So once you understand this formula, you can also handle 3 capital, 4 capital, 5 capital, etc. Okay, and then weighted by the proportion of the capital in a company. So equity, you have 6431, and then you have debenture 2052, and then you have the bank loan of 635. Total capital is these three add together, and that is the equity plus the debt here. So this figure should be 9118. And then you will have the current cost of capital of 4.91%. So that will be the answer for part 13.1, part A. So let's come back to part B here. So the only difference between the part A and the part B, it is the part B, we are calculating the cost of equity. Instead of using capital asset pricing model, we now going to use a Gordon's growth model. Again, you can write down the formula and then look for the information. The rest of the figure, you need not do anymore. So part B, only this figure will be different. The rest of the figure, they are all the same. So I just write down this current cost of capital, except this figure is different. The rest of the figure, they are all the same. Only this one, we have to use a growth model. We sorted out this one here, then we got on to the part B there. Okay, yeah, so we can now write down the cost of equity. So under growth model, cost of equity is this a dividend per share, this is a growth rate, dividend growth rate, and this is a current share price. So current share price, we have dividend, we have to work it out, and then we have the growth rate here. So we have to look at the relevant information. So anyway, this is a 276p. That is a current share price here. Then we have to look at the other information. So the other information, they are all given here basically. That is you see that the dividend yield, 4.2%. And also you are given here the earning per share, 25 pence here. So let's work out those figures. So normally I will just have a working for the D0, and then we have to get this growth rate here. So we'll just move it up. Okay, I get this D0 here, the current dividend. So dividend yield given is 4.2%. That should be the share price. That is where the shareholder pay currently. And then they will get the 4.2%, which is equal to the dividend per share right now. So this is a 276p multiplied by 4.2%. So rounded, you have the 11.6. So that will sort out this part here, 11.6p. So we are left with the growth rate. So again, I will move it up. So this will be a 2 asterisk here. There are two ways to calculate the growth rate here. One is if the question gives you the past dividend, then we can work out a growth rate. The other one is to use the Gordon's growth approximations. Gordon's growth approximation will be equal to G is equal to R multiplied by B, which will say that this is a return for the shareholder